Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us today at Stone Soup Poetry. We are gathering online again. We haven't figured out what the live and online schedule is going to be permanently. I know that we have one live show now every second Wednesday of the month. And the next time we gather, it'll be in July. And I believe it'll be, let me check the month time. Let me check the time. Yes, it'll be July 13th with the Garage Poets, with Jeff Taylor, hopefully Ethan Mackler, and a host of others coming to perform live. And that's going to be exciting. And hopefully by that time, when I come back from my trip from Parts Unknown, I'm going to sit down with the amazing people at the Fort Point Arts Community. We have some really great people there who are willing to help us out with the tech and see what exactly is needed moving forward. But moving forward, we're going to get the kinks out of the online part of the Zoom participation. And we're going to proceed with even more people for the rest of the year. And I can't wait. And of course, we will gather right before I leave for Parts Unknown next week. And that will be for June 22nd. And what I'm doing for the week from there probably won't be Stone Soup, but it might be something. Stay tuned. I'm making this up as I go. And let's get to the open mic. We have a lot of people on tonight. Thanks to those of you who came either live or via Zoom last week for Jim Dunn's reading, which was amazing. And thank you for participating in the open mic, those that did. Let's go now to our first participant from Parts, all too well known, thanks to his constant updates on Facebook. He's learning to work with his hands. He's doing a good job of it. Let's welcome up Mr. Bill Lewis. Compared to what he's been doing in Idaho, this is probably just a walk in the park for him.
Well, hello, my friends. It is so exciting to be here and there and everything. And my hands hurt and everything hurts. And that's life. Oh, my goodness gracious. What a world we live in. An assassination attempt against a Supreme Court justice. Holy shit. What had happened to us? Well, anyway, I was in the chicken coop pulling out chicken shit and complaining about chicken shit. And one of my friends said, "You need a hazmat suit." And that got me riffing on hazmat suits. And I don't know if you know anything about hazmat suits, but it produced a poem which I call Hazmat Suits Suck. Where did I put it? Here we go. Yes. Hazmat suits suck. They're ugly and they're smelly. They're hot as hell. They never fit. They irritate my belly. It's hard to see. It's hard to move. It's hard to touch or feel. It's like you're in a nightmare dream, and yet you know it's real. As I was single, I was first to penetrate the gloom, searching blindly in the darkness for the man left in the room. 20 minutes was all we had to execute our mission. After that, our air ran out. Our friends became the victim. We never asked their race or sex, if they were good or bad. They needed help and we were there. It's a responsibility we had. The odd thing is I never felt any kind of fears. The bell went off, we suited up to aid our friends, our peers. What drives a man to risk his life for folks he hardly knows? I cannot say, though I am sure that that's the way it goes. I'm proud to say I joined the team to do my sacred task. It's your turn now, my friend, to stand and serve as you are asked.
Thank you, Bill. Let's see who to go to next. I have the Randonator 5000 has a habit of going boy, girl, boy, girl. We'll keep that. Well, I guess we'll have no choice but to not mix it up tonight. Although we do have Nancy, we do have Carol, so I forgot that. Let's see. What do we have next? Let's put up Miss Jan Rowe. She's got one piece, according to James. Hey, Jan. Missed you last week.
Here you go.
So
last time on Zoom, I wrote about the problem about that good guys with guns and dealing with bad guys with guns when the bad guys got the stronger guns. So this one is another one of the arguments. So Maria was back to meditation group after her third early May knee replacement. She said her sister-in-law had a shoulder grazed by a bullet and her car was shot 26 times. Oh, a fifth floor resident just opened the window and started shooting. When Maria told a friend, the friend's response, this is what we must accept to live in this wonderful country, didn't used to be. So don't complain if we get shot at the supermarket. Thank you.
Well, really, if it's a market basket, it's your own damn fault. No, it's I don't even know what that means. I like Market Basket. They got good deals on drinks. Anyway, thank you, Jan. And let's go up next to let's see. Let's go up next to Magister Galt, Mr. Edward Galt himself, who is live and actually has a poem in this week's Oddball magazine. By the way, if you know of anyone who has a poem on the A word, that's an ongoing Supreme Court topic as of a while ago. I can't say, I actually tried to peg something as abortion on Oddball magazine, and as a result, my post could not be seen. It was somehow, it was weirdly shadow banned, and we're still figuring that out. So when I tag something as a themed on the A word, on abortion, it's literally called the A word. And I appreciate Ed being a participant. But if anyone knows any women who are writers and would want to contribute something, send them my way. It's kind of weird if the only people who are publishing, and there was actually 2 poems this week on abortion, but they're both by men, which is fine. It's good to have allies, but where do women at? I don't know. But anyway, I'm sure they'll start coming, especially if things turn out how I think they're going to. Anyway, let's welcome up Mr. Magister Galt and thank him for his work.
Yeah, thank you very much. I did feel a little bit weird writing that too, you know. It's like, hey, I'm a man, I should, for the women here. I was kind of hoping to see a lot more protests around Roe versus Wade too. I participated in that march 2 or 3 weeks ago or 4, and I was hoping to see a lot more of those marches. Anyway, here's my poem of the week here. It's called Tirades. Every night was a trial when the people upstairs got ticked off at each other, or their in-laws, or their exes, or their exes' lawyers, or the landlord. I was actually tempted to go up and join in on that one. It scarcely mattered what the issue was, the who or the what. When they went into one of their tirades, their hollering alone shook the foundations of the building, loosening the bricks, even the ones just recently put in with fresh cement. Peeling the wallpaper and shattering the windows. And there were the things they threw. I don't believe it was limited to just dishes. There were thuds on the floor that I was sure were going to bring down the ceiling. Oh, and those hot summer nights. I mean, really hot, wicked humid. I also thought they might consider recording those sessions in a studio on a CD. That way they wouldn't need to have the actual fight. Just enjoy it on CD with headphones. Thank you very much.
Nice. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Magister Galt. I feel like I have to say it in a German accent. But let's move on to the next person. Let's do our first phone participant. I'm going to ask her to unmute by pressing *6, and we can listen to Nancy Dodson.
Watching. The spirit of Kayla draws near. Kayla, the poodle that died in late September. She's buried in the garden. We feel her spirit watches over us. My tenant placed some broth out to cool on the deck table. Kayla loved broth with her dinner. When she was sick, there was a crash. The pot was undisturbed. The silver tray was on the deck. The lid was on the deck. There were no footprints in the snow. Was Kayla watching over us? I wonder.
Hey, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy. Did someone drop out? I think someone dropped off the call, probably Chris. Let's see who, he'll be back. Let's see who else I can bring up now. Next up, let's welcome up Mr. David Miller. And David, I did get your message regarding last week. I just forgot to reply to it, but thanks for letting me know you couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Hopefully the
yeah.
next time.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm glad it's happening. Okay, well, hi, everybody. So this poem is in the form of a dialogue, which I'll try to indicate as well as I can on the screen here. It's titled Interview. What had you done to upset your parents? I ran across the street with other boys. How old were you and when was this? 7 in 1962. Did you run into the middle of the street? No, at the crosswalk. So why were they upset? Because of something we yelled. What did you yell? Last one across the street is a what? Finish it. I don't want to say the word. How about spelling the word? No. Oh, well then tell me about it. It's a 4-letter word with 6 letters. The first letter is trapped behind clenched teeth, an electric chair's potency. The letter N. I don't have to answer your questions. So N, that's what I thought. Go on with your description. The final letter, a consonant from the throat of a dog on a short, heavy chain in a concrete backyard. The second and fifth are vowels, flat, pasty-faced, quiet, the smiles of a redliner's pen. In the middle, twin consonants. 2 hands at the throats of people ordered to go back where they came from, though they've lived here all their lives. Why did you boys yell that word? To protect ourselves against being that kind, we raced to prove we were normal. Did you know what you were saying? No, I yelled it because the other boys did. Did you keep it up after your parents told you to stop? No, I yelled, rotten egg. Better. So whose idea was this? It wasn't anybody's idea. Don't play dumb with me. It was someone's idea. No, it just was that way, like a tradition.
Thanks, David. Enjoyed that one. And now let's bring us over to, Chris Fitzgerald's coming back. That's weird. He usually lets himself in for some reason. He comes in out of his own accord. Let's welcome up next to the open mic. let's go with, let's welcome Miss Julian Powers.
Thanks, Chad. Right on the shore up north, where I hunted pieces that seemed to be missing from my tombstone of grief. There is a captain in the lighthouse tower where I visit Cape Mead. Sharp seashells break at my feet. The salty sweet leads me to where I felt something to believe in. Searching the sand for any glimmering shards. When I find them, the shine reflects back horrors before I slip them into my pocket. Here there is a bay by a lot of vacancies in waiting. What it is waiting for, I'm not sure. Washed up, beached on the shore, just like then, but older. Thanks.
Thank you, Julian. And now we are going to see if Chris Fitzgerald is able to join us now before he gets bumped off again. Chris, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I have done 4, maybe 5 poems that women's bums have played a major role in. This is the one that kickstarted my women's bum poems genre. I made my bones with this one. 2nd grade, Benjamin Dean School, South Boston, demolished 50 years ago before I was given a chance to post this poem in every classroom. Don't know much about history. Don't know what a slide rule is for. I wrote this 35 years ago. I like to think my curiosity is just as active today as it was in that 2nd grade class, but I have a much greater appreciation of the moment and how beautiful being alive can be. This is called Don't Buy Judy Bond Clothes. In the 2nd grade, I sat in the second last seat, first row. My pal Tommy sat in the last seat, first row. We were wax poetic, philosophic about the conditions of the world we live, circa 1960, 1961. Why Yankee sluggers Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris, both last names, began with the letter M. Why Detroit sluggers Rocky Colavito and Norm Cash began with the letter C. Why Superman, the Hollywood actor George Reeves, shot and killed himself. One day, this little girl who sat in the first seat, 2nd row, and was wearing a cotton dress. All the girls wore cotton dresses. Cotton was still king. I guess the Southern cotton mills were still booming after the war. And I remember going downtown Boston Saturday morning with my mother, outside Raymond's, the working class stronghold, outside Jordan Marsh, outside Filene's, would be union activists, New York accents, giving out free shopping bags on the sides of which read, "Don't buy Judy Bond clothes." We had no idea who this Judy Bond was. Thinking back of it now, probably some scab outfit in the Carolinas trying to keep the unions out. This little girl who sat in the first seat, 2nd row, had an accident, the number 1. It must have become uncomfortable for her, so she removed her underwear. She let her dress down in front, but left it up and back. Tommy and I had this red and a little bit ruddy posterior to contemplate. Mantle, Maris, Cash, Colavito, and Superman became back burner items. At the end of the day, Tommy and I let it be known to this girl, though we sympathized with her unfortunate accident, all in all, it had been rather a pleasant day. Then I said, it must have been a Judy Bond dress responsible for the problem in the first place. Doesn't your mother read the sides of shopping bags? I've never heard of a mother who didn't read. She smiled. For the rest of the year, say once every 5 or 6 weeks, she would remove her underwear and pull her dress up and back. She scrapped the number 1 angle. In no way do I mean to belittle the hard work 2nd graders had to do then or now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And now let's see, who do we have next? Oh, something happened. Okay. Let us go now to All right, Carol Weston. If I unmute you, let me actually make sure that happens. Okay, you should be all set, Carol. Carol Weston.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Carol.
Milkweed. Each girl soaring like a seed of milkweed in the wind is pinned down and planted in a patch of earth. And this one from Quincy. My ear is on the rock. I beat the buffalo drum in Caddy Park and listen for existence. I bend my ear to the boulder in the sacred circle to hear the voices of Native Americans who passed 9,000 years before me. My hand is on their hand. My heart beats with their drum. I stamp the ground they stamped and shout across their bones. Their blades cut my hand with smooth flint from the ancient Blue Hill quarry. My ear is on the rock, sensitive to the vibration of earthquakes and volcanoes all over the earth. Cannot walk without dragging the roots of humanity. A carol is a circle dance. My circle is all-encompassing. I can barely move. On my stomach, I lick the earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Bravo, says the group. We're going to go now for a quick musical interlude. We're going to ask the Big E to turn on his camera, turn on his guitar, and we'll do the musical interlude. Then we have 2 more people before we start the round robin all over again. So, ladies and gentlemen, 1/4 to 1/3 to 1/5 of the Garage Poets. I'm not sure how many members there are now. See him live. 3. See 1/3 of the members of Garage Poets. Shouldn't be that hard to do a bio then. Anyway, see them live on July 13th at the Assemblage Gallery, Four Point Arts Community. And let's welcome up now Mr. Ethan Mackler. there's more where that came from, both in our Stone Soup backlog and with his performances at the Garage Poets, including his upcoming show, along with Jeff Taylor. And who's the third person, Ethan?
Anna Jeffrey.
Anna Jeffrey. All three of those people will hopefully be making their way to Stone Soup on the 13th, 7 to 9 o'clock p.m. I've been a full week back from Parts Unknown and anxious to get started. I'll have to figure out if there's going to be a show when I come back from Parts Unknown, like the actual week I come back. I'll be trying to do announcements as best I can with the time differences. If you really want to know where I am, well, just check out the my private Instagram feed. Anyway.
Well, Chad, is it more like parts? Is it more like Parts Unstone? Sorry.
That might have to be my my live feed. I might have to do that from Parts Unstoned. That might. Thank you for the inspiration. I'm going to totally give you 10% ownership of that name, even though you came up with the 100% of it. That's how the business world works these days. That might have to. We might have to do something just so we can have a show with that title. At any rate, we are going now to the final two spoken word participants. And the first one up of the Human Room Open Voice. Let's welcome up Mr. C.C. Ashagra.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, you mentioned no one's doing a lot with Roe v. Wade. The Human Room Open Voice has a category of participation called free speech. In other words, you don't have to be a poet. You could just say something. But the first two pieces that came in via upload to a Google Drive are both Roe v. Wade pieces. And one I just made public for this thing. I'm gonna share a screen. And I'm gonna play the second video to be uploaded as a free speech participant in the whole thing. And you'll see. And if there's time for the other one, I'll play the other one. This one's by Heidi Casa, K-A-S-A, and the other one's by T.A. Niles. Let's see if we can make this happen.
We got Puppy? Who's got Puppy?
So let's see if I could share my screen.
Oh, yeah.
Post disabled. You gotta give me permission to share screen.
It's not Wednesday. Oh, it is. Well, see, I'm always. Yes, I love.
Okay, all right, let's see. Let's see this one here. Okay, so this is the back room of the Human Room Open Voice has a YouTube channel with this little logo, and that's the name of the YouTube channel. And this is, you can manage videos. This is the newest one of, for, and by the participants. I'm not going to play that one, but this one it's only been up for 4 days, and it has more than any video in this little idea I'm building. And so here's the free speech one right here. I wish she was here. I'm going to do this for her, but let's see. Oh, I didn't share sound, so I'm going to have to stop. Can't hear that, right? Hold on. You did not hear something just now, right? Hello?
No, I didn't.
Okay, all right. That's because you're supposed to do the thing. So I have to share screen, and I forgot to share sound in the clip. And we'll do this one more time. And I'll start it at the beginning. Be quiet.
Right, and I mean, it's also sometimes our fault. Yeah, well, you have to watch them all. Yeah, but today I determined that.
Current and never events.
All right.
Note: a never event in American healthcare is an adverse event that is identifiable, preventable, and consequential in the life and health of the patient. Witness the moment of personhood. Parse it from the moment of murder. Another murdered woman. It's okay because she lived a life. It's okay because she was used. It's okay because she was a person, but not now. Protect a fertilized egg because you can't rape it. Yet. The murder here unspoken, now chalked up to a tragedy. At least she didn't die in a mass shooting. Then she might have seen the gun. But the invisible scalpel, the vacated doctors, their vanishing expertise, the reason for her death she won't see, an avoidable murder. She might know. Women's intuition, maternal instinct, survival impulse. Desecrating motherhood by killing mothers in the name of the embryo. How many times can a baby be used against its mother? Late pregnancy complications. A fetal heartbeat now a death knell for the mother, even if the baby has no chance at life. Late pregnancy complications. Overlooking a woman's personhood and any sustained harm. Possible lost limbs. Hello, 15-year-old post-row activist. Pregnancy is not always sunshine and roses. Personhood an entwined thing. Women who've carried babies know. Listen to Adrienne Rich. Looking under the hood of a person and then saying there's no person up there to save is throwing the mother out with the bathwater. What defines personhood, the hood or the person? A hood that doesn't hold the gun, but points out who should be shot, then claims no responsibility. Let's save every fertilization under one condition. For each new birth, let's replace a prominent male citizen. Forced sacrifice is all the rage, you know. Save the fertilized egg, and down goes Mitch McConnell. Boom, another baby. Bye-bye, Trump. Congratulations, it's a boy. Matt Gaetz fades away. By all means, give new youth a try. Statistically, it might not be worse.
So let me see. So then it has a couple little things at the end. You could do this one here, and then other things pop up. Let me see if I could stop this. Okay, I think I did. Did it stop?
Yes, it did.
So that's an uploaded video to the Human Room Open Voice free speech platform. Now that's really produced. You could just put your camera on. What's going on?
I don't know what's going on. What were you
Oh, we're
saying?
being bombed?
What? What's going on? There's
Oh. I think it's the YouTube next video thing. I don't know
well,
why.
I don't see anything on our screen. We're totally free of your share screen, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay, if it stopped, it was YouTube kept playing in the background, and it went
Okay.
through my
We couldn't
computer
hear
into
it.
my mic live. So sorry about that. That was just YouTube didn't shut up after the video thing. Yeah, so just the link will give you the new video, and I'll pay TA Niles next. And thank you very much. That's you kind of asked for the Roe v. Wade, and I'm sitting on it, so I might as well. I think Heidi will be surprised. So yeah, but like and subscribe and listen to the whole thing, because otherwise YouTube doesn't give a shit if people listen to 2 seconds and leave.
I hear
So
ya.
yeah, whatever. So do what you can. If you like that and you want to share it, make her happy before she even knows it went live. Do what you got to do with that.
Thank you, CC.
You're welcome. And I'll do TA. TA's is very interesting too. It's also a Roe v. Wade piece.
Cool.
I'll have a couple
Wow.
things to do in the comment section for her. She sent me information, but most of the information is in the description. So thank you. And let's hear from James, the man.
Okay, you heard CC James. Let's welcome up and close out James Van Looy, whose column is hopefully coming my way. I haven't checked the email for a while. His column, It's All One Thing, is featured every Thursday at 11 a.m. without fail. Let's welcome up Mr. James Van Looy.
Thanks, Chad. And I did send you a piece. So I have a poem here by my my great grandfather's cousin, Jacobus Van Looy, wrote this poem. It was probably one of the earliest poems he wrote as a young adult, probably about the age of 19 or 20. And it's called A Geberd Verhaal, a story that happened. Geberd Verhaal, Verhaal van jaren her. Wat zuster died het mij, hoe ik als kind youngstes van arm gezien, soms vader blind geleid door het stadje hier en daar. Story that happened, story of years past, what sister said to me, how I as a child, youngest of poor family, sometimes father blind, guided through the city, here and there. Who I up sein shoulders sat dan hog and fur outkeet for him, for grocht and stoop gezind, for shoen moest, en who zik vasthield het kind, lak verzinde out sein oges als gister. How I sat on his shoulders then, high and far, watched out for him, for canal and doorstep, cook, must warn, and how the child held on, fear laughing out his eyes like a star. Oude geschiedenis door en brief aan het gloren, o leven waar niet veel rokt in de lore, herdenken wie de sprok van vader zoon. Old history through a letter on the dawn, O life where not much is lost in the past, we commemorate the connection of father, son. See me dat kind ends aan zijn wonderloon, dat sitting up the shoulders van een blinde, den langer weg door nacht and sun and vinden. I see that child once again, his wonder wage that sits on the shoulders of a blind one, the long way through night and sun and winds. Greedy is further than white, so dig my house, rust in the weapons night, what have the angst net us gedaan, let alles wat Adem in vrede bestaan. Mark speelt met Mark en daar was de spel. Dank voor elkaar, dragen ze met de hel. Leer nooit hem nooit samen te gaan. Let alles wat Adem in vrede bestaan. Alles wat Adem in vrede bestaan. So that, of course, is let everything that exists live in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, James. And with the round robin, we pass go, collect our $200, which I never see a dime of, and start the round robin again with the man waiting patiently all the way from Idaho, Mr. Bill Lewis.
Isn't the internet an amazing thing, the World Wide Web? Ha! At first, it was just for fun and conversations, but oh my goodness gracious, the videos that people have been putting up, the information that's available, education is so much easier than it used to be in so many senses. I'm just so excited. And all these things that we never could have seen before, never could have experienced. I saw someone put a little comment on about Robert Frost, and they had Robert Frost reciting one of my favorite poems of his. And I was just, oh, this is going to be so exciting. Stopping in the woods on a snowy evening. And I listened to him recite it. And I was really disappointed. It's this incredibly beautiful poem, but his recitation was so flat. And it was like, what happened to the, but anyway, maybe he was just old, but who cares? It was, I got to hear Robert Frost recite my favorite poem, and I was into it. When I was 18, 19, I ran away from home, so to speak. And while hitchhiking through Idaho on a very snowy evening, I got dropped off in the middle of nowhere. And I went walking through the woods, which were very, very snowy and cold and actually rather dangerous, but oh well, it was so beautiful. And I just stopped and recited that gorgeous poem. And I was just so in love with it. So you are going to get my version of it now. As soon as the motorcycle stops. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bell a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds, the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. These woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, sometimes you don't want to hear your heroes read their work. Sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes. Sometimes you don't want to hear them recite the poems. Some people used to say that I used to get a long list of like the poets who were quote terrible at reading their own poetry. They listed Charles Simic among them, although I never thought that to be the case with him. But maybe you just need to lighten up. But now I want to go and see if there's a recitation of Kenneth Koch's Fresh Air, which if you've never heard it or never read it, I put a link on my blog and other places. Kenneth Koch, K-O-C-H, Fresh Air. It's like a six or seven page long poem. Pretty amazing. More great lines in it than I can actually remember. I recently reread it yesterday. Let's give thanks to the internet again, and let's go to our next person on the open mic. Oh, did Jan want to read again? Did Jan find something else? I guess Jan didn't find anything else. Okay, let us move on to the next person on the open mic. Let's go now to Mr. Or I should say Magister Galt.
Okay, thank you. Being the magister of thought crime, I feel I should probably carry out my duty and read something irritating, if only to the regimes of South America. For a long time, I was a human rights activist, and this poem kind of comes out of that. Next week, I will see if I can't read a poem that will irritate a few people in this country, too. Anyway, this one is called Colonel. Su Excelencia, if I could speak to you for just a moment. The inspector at the Ministry of Internal Affairs said that perhaps you could help me to find my son, Pablo. He is my only son, you see. My father was blessed with 9 niños. I was blessed with 1. He is such a good boy, Colonel. I know that you would like him. He is so passionate, though. You know the young, so full of ideas, a love for justice and liberty. The world is big, our farm so small. How do you tell him the sowing must be done if the harvest is to come? How do you make him understand, Colonel, the ties a man must have to his family and to his land? Colonel, I don't wish to take up so much of your time. There are more important things to do than to listen to such a simple man. The rebels are in the mountains. The descamisados are in the streets. The students are with the mothers marching in the Plaza del Mayo for their dead. Standing on the balcony of La Casa Rosada, the president makes speeches of prices and controls. In the early days, he too talked of justice and liberty. now simply for peace and stability. Colonel, I am old. The land is all I know. You say that I am with the rebels. The rebels say that I am with you. I am with the land, I tell them. The sowing must be done if the harvest is to come. The land is not dirt, it is life. A life handed down from father to son. Many times I have dreamt and seen the years to come. I saw Pablo with his wife, children and grandchildren, finding a glorious harvest in the autumn sun. The years will go hard on a man with no son to till and sow. My father was blessed with 9 niños. I was blessed with 1. Por favor, Colonel, help me to find my son. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Try and piss off more people. Seems to be working for you. Wish it worked for me. Let's welcome next. Who do we have next? Yes. We're back to the phone contributors. Up first, if she'll press *6 to unmute herself, Miss Nancy Dodson.
Dog versus cat. The dogs make pitter-patter on the stone. The rushing dog begins to bark. Every time I hear a bark, I am fearful. Did I wake somebody up during the day, during the night? Will the dog chase a cat up the tree? Will the dog chase a cat to the top of the fence? The barks are interruption as the night wears on. Cat should fear the dog that has never had his nose scratched by cat. To scratch a nose is to fear the cat forevermore. Perhaps it is the best way not to hear a bark. Fear is the teacher of jungle law, and perhaps the wisest men of all. But wisest law of all, it's instinct.
Thank you, Nancy. Good having you back. Next time I'll remember to call you for the live show. I'm sorry I didn't last week. We are now heading up to Mr. David Miller. If you got one more on you, we'd love to hear it.
Sure, thanks. Yep. So, to a passerby's tossed medical waste. Hello. Today's disposable mask, flat-winged on the sidewalk, visitor just outside my gate. Innocent but abandoned, poor thing. Anonymous as a blank calling card, you're forced to bear the taint of dropping, with thanks to someone who scorned what dog walkers know. After the clampdown began, how many hours passed before these dainty Icaruses appeared face down like you, spread-eagled, decorating the city? Or was it minutes? Not to be touched without latex gloves or tongs. And thrown gloves also, greeting everyone with random gestures, twisting crawly hands, asking for spare change or the next dance. This morning, it's you, individual nameless one, with personal traces of lung waste, saliva, mouth stain, and whatever waited on the pavement to kiss your blank expression. Rejected keeper of human breath, ear loops splayed from sky blue bands, spurned, prostrate. Come with me. I'll inter you with the others bagged beneath my porch. Thanks.
Fuck, Dave, did you publish that one yet?
I'm trying.
If you send it to a certain magazine that has that's thematic on the subject of balls, then then I'll definitely take a look at it. Boy, that sounded weird. I really have to vet myself. I really have to do what radio Opie and Anthony used to do before they moved to satellite radio, which was have everything play like 5 minutes ahead of time, like have there be a 5 minute delay, and then they could delete all the bad words that they said by accident. In which case it'd be my whole routine. Anyway, let's move up now to Julian Powers.
Adrian, you are all-encompassing, whole love. You are the radiating light from your heart that holds hands with mine. Still, you are a purely divine presence, balanced and still. You took the time to hand me a piece of your magic. I still cherish the days with your grace. This is my treasure. You are a guiding, timeless tune. You are still alive, even if only in my heart. Thank you.
Very sweet, Julian. Thank you. And let's see who we have next, according to my previously printed out Randomtron 5000. Is he here? Yes, oh my God. And we actually have video too. Chris Fitzgerald. If you're ready to go, we're ready to listen and actually ready to see you. Oh my God.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you and we can see you.
Wow. This is from like April 15th. I am probably one of the biggest name droppers some of you have come in contact with. I'm going to have to ask you to indulge me once again. This is National Poetry Month. I want to have something special to celebrate the occasion. This pop music literary quote came into my head. It's from James Joyce, early part of the 20th century. If you ask Joyce, what do? He wouldn't say he was a novelist or a short story writer. He would tell you he was a friggin' poet. It's not his poetry I should deal with now, but he was the first one to make me aware that it wasn't poetry that was a criticism of life anymore, but popular music. My initial feelings about popular music. They gave me the feeling men and women, they've gotten laid on a Saturday night. No one told them about the wonderful explosiveness of intimacy. So now it's Tuesday and they've had a Joycean epiphany. Fuck this. I got to tell the world what love is and what it's got to do with it. This week and next, I shall sing a couple of verses of songs from the 60s and 70s. Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on. Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on. Sloopy lives in a very bad part of town. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And everybody, yeah, tries to put my Sloopy down. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Sloopy, I don't give two fucks what your daddy do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. 'Cause you know, Sloopy girl, I'm in love with you. And so I say now, hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Don't forget to tip the waitresses.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. And coming up next, how the hell can we follow that? Yes, we bring up Carol Weston, who I shall unmute rather, in 5, 4, 3, 2. Carol Weston, you are up. Hello.
Thank you. Clock, moon, clock of the world, you knock me over in your kelp-filled tides. Conjunction, when you touch the eyelid of humanity, you touch the pulse beat of the universe. Cotillion, I who bit the poison ivy in the woods, and in the marble halls at school let out my scream of my forbidden body, lay on my bed of diaries and books, unaware of the evening dress on the closet door. My mother broke into the quiet of my room. It's time to try on the dress, she said. I rose and screamed and fell on the little lavender rug beside the bed. She came down on her knees beside me on the rug and cried. I, the screamer, walk in on my gentle father's arm. His eyes flit over the sensual back of Sally, the girl in front. I, a brow thick with thinking, my body shaped with doubt, walk in among the princesses. Why am I being pulled out of my sacred darkness into this glare, the heartbeat of this band, terrified to touch or be touched? Thank you.
Hey, Carol.
Hooray, Carol. You're getting claps and high fives that you can't unfortunately return, but but thank you so much, Carol, again. Always good to have you. And now, who do we have next? We have Big E himself. He's got, I think Ethan's gonna appreciate that nickname. He calls himself Big E on his or at least capitally on his Zoom, but we know him as Mr. Ethan Mackler. Ethan, are you ready to go? you want to hear more of that with words, come to the assemblage gallery in Seaport, right across from the Barking Crab, and witness the Garage Poets performing live for us. Oh, is that a little pug, Julian? Oh, little guy. Aw. You've had a pug this whole time, and you've only brought him now to the open mic. Aw.
Oh, she always comes at the end, but she's usually out of camera sight.
Aw. What's his name?
Her name's Nico.
Oh, her name's Nico. Aw. Little
She's
girl.
elderly.
How old?
She's 13.
13.
Yeah.
She reminds me of Noodles, if you know who that is, the internet meme.
No,
There's
I haven't.
Look up TikTok and look up Noodles, where the owner, a guy named Jonathan Gratz, has daily reports of whether the day is a bones or no bones. Where basically he picks up Noodle, and if he slumps back down on his bed, it's a no bones day, and if he is actually able to stand up on its own the first try, it's a bones day. He actually wrote a children's book based on this, and Noodles the cutest. Noodles is also 13. And the same color as your pug, I believe.
Yeah, it's
I'll have
so
to send
cute.
you a link. My sister's dog Smokey died about a year ago. So yeah, I'm a pug guy. Anyway,
Yeah, big pug person.
Anyway, enough pug interlude. I'm rudely interrupting the final two poets of the night. And let's have CC give another sample of the human room, or his own example of, or maybe his own example of his own words. CC, are you up? Are you ready? Uh-oh.
Yes, give me a hot second. Hold on, give me a hot second.
Take all the time you need.
I'm triple tasking here. Okay, let's see. Screen share again. Sound
You
is
should still have
on.
access. I never changed it.
Okay, cool. Now this will get us there. Might be a different doorway in, but okay. Here it is. This is by T.A. Niles. He just featured last night at a place out in California called Cobalt, which is 10:30 to 1 in the morning because it's California. So let me know if you want help with that. Let me see if I can fill screen. And here goes.
A Momentous Decision by T.A. Niles. Seriously, do you know of a single woman or girl who wants or wanted an abortion? We call it choice, but circumstances can surely make a mockery of that concept. And from where do we get the authority to impose our vision of being, our sense of the world, on someone else? In this instance, a woman or girl. That's right, from a book written by men. I haven't had to drape a dirty tarp of disassociation over a cast iron cauldron of emotion. I haven't had to decide to hide or reveal the truth of seed taking root within the core of me, or till the soil of blooming doubt and dread. I haven't had to lift my trembling eyes to parents, a lover, a spouse, while trying to untwist my tongue, contorted in confusion and convolution, so that I could utter the unutterable. I haven't had to cross the barrier between sound and meaning as I watched their lips move in pity, horror, condemnation, or in best case scenarios, care and understanding, all rippling across their faces, the hues morphing at the news. I haven't had to fight the urge to cringe or wrap my shoulders around my head like a shawl of shame as I reached for the clinic door handle. I haven't had to stare a blank-faced receptionist in the eye, keeping my face empty in the fullest of moments. I haven't had to open myself wide to expose the most tender part of me to someone who has no business being there. Under different circumstances, I haven't had to flinch from the invasion of icy, uncaring metal piercing my core with seeming indifference. I have not had to submerge or cast aside images of cribs and playgrounds, have not had to throw dirt over DNA-spawned dreams, or engage in bitter debate with my fiercest enemy, myself. I have not had to make the most mind-bending, heart-rending decision a human being can make, to be or not to be for a potential someone else. Some decisions fade into the bowels of their aftermaths. This decision perches on every bough of being, sometimes buried in life's falling leaves, at other times stark in glare of memory's light. I haven't had the final say in such a decision, but I must claim the part I've played in this partnership of pain.
Okay, let me X that out so it doesn't do that thing again.
So let me ask you this, CC.
Yes.
Do they submit the video packages complete to you? Do they do the editing themselves?
The only thing that's happening is the name in the beginning gets put down there. The category gets put underneath it. If it's a poet or free speech or a nonprofit or a community group, which if you did one for Stone Soup. Now, this just happens to be the first two that said, I want to do the free speech, but they were both poets. It could be
Right.
me just making a 30-second video saying, listen, the problem with the thing is the banks, and the banks should do this, and until they do that, I don't believe in money. And this is the problem, and and this is my contribution to humankind. And basically, this is my benevolent contribution to humankind. So you read those 9 things, and each person decided that whatever it is that they gave, they felt they met the criteria in their own heart. No judge, jury, and executioner. And that is the first like 20-30% of the system. Later on, the dream gets bigger and bigger and bigger. In reality, you just got to push fucking reality off the table, because this thing is way bigger than you, me, or it's whether or not we're free to speak and whether or not art is going to eventually be against the law. So who's controlling what is and isn't human? This is a system where that could play out, because the waterline is benevolence. And the guideline is the beginning 9 principles of involvement. And if you really want to deep six it later on, a year or 2 from now, 3 from now, there's actually 22 of them. And then I'd let the whole thing go. Lock, stock, and barrel, the YouTube channel, the whole thing belongs. But I'm going to put one more link in, because while I'm going back and forth making dinner, it's now on the table. So I'm going to put one more link in the chat. And then I love you all, and I'm going to go and watch.
Before you do go, could you write down the name of the poet one more time? I was enjoying this so much I forgot to write down his name.
Yes, and then you feel free to contact both of them. When you go to their video, underneath it is going to be their email, their link, their website, and stuff like that.
Of course.
So just go to the website and get it there. It's T.A. Niles and Heidi Casa.
Gotcha, T.A. Niles.
T.A. Niles, yeah. He's
Heidi's name I already got.
Yeah, and it's on the video and it's in the thing, and I just haven't put Heidi's website in. She just sent it to me last night. And I decided to make it go public for this because of what you said earlier. So I hope that was a good decision and you enjoyed it. And I'll add those things to the chat. And you all got me on Facebook, so write me, question me, and the human room open voice at Gmail. Send me. I need questions. What is it that
Okay.
you're doing? What the hell? I wouldn't have been able to make the last video if people didn't start asking me some good questions. And thank you, Julian. She helped me screen the last one too. That was kind of cool. Before I handed it over to it. Okay, bye. Love you.
Thank you, CC. And we're going to close out with Mr. James Van Looy. It's all one thing himself. Hopefully doing a live show. We had promised to show the Rime of the Ancient Mariner 2 years ago, didn't we, James? And we got to get you
That's
back
a
to do that at
performance piece
least.
that I'm still working on that, Chad. So I'm a little bit injured right now, but hopefully in a couple of months, I'm really kind of got that whole thing coming to completion. It's
That's
actually
awesome.
It's not about the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. It's from a Poe piece called The Descent into the Maelstrom.
That's
And-
right. That's right. I couldn't remember. I knew it was written on the event page.
The idea of it, of course, is that this guy is on a fishing thing and his boat gets overturned and he ends up being sucked down into a whirlpool. And he manages to save his life actually by watching and observing what is happening to the objects that are caught in the maelstrom, which is that the larger the objects are, the slower they go down into the maelstrom. And so he manages to hold on to something so that he doesn't get sucked all the way down into the foam below. And there's a wonderful quote that goes with that. But anyway, I don't have it here right now. So anyway, I do have a piece here called The Fast Train to Durham. Fast Train to Durham. We're on the fast train to Durham after a week hobnobbing about London, going to Houseman's Anarchist bookstore, where I bought two big, thick volumes, one on prehistory, the other on death, the first 5,000 years. But we also went to the British Museum, stopping by at bookstores on the way, including eating at the cafe of the London Review of Books, where was another bookstore, and topping it off at the Tate Museum of Modern Art, where we saw an exhibition of social political art, quite extraordinary. For example, photos of apartheid South Africa, and two films, one in Pakistan called Reserved, showing children being lined up over and over, people stopped in their cars in traffic, people waiting in an auditorium next to a sign that says reserved for a car carrying persons we don't ever see, with motorcycle and convoy of security with their screaming sirens. And then another film about Serbia showing nationalist hooligans in attack mode of a GLBTQ Pride Day parade back in the time of millennial change aught years, after the bombing of Belgrade, so violent, toxic male display of aggression in wake of Clinton's Kosovo intervention. Meanwhile, outside, we joined a demo of the Extinction Rebellion who served us lunch. And I made a labyrinth there in front of the Tate. And just as I finished, a police security person of color came up and tried to stop me, but some nice lady intervened and instructed so I could finish the lettering for peace and entry, and then started walking my labyrinth revelation, of course, and immediately came and joined in with all the kids and kept on coming until I left. But just most synchronous of all, was the night of our first full day there, where we noticed posters of the place, a dance complex, and came back just in time to see a mime dance performance piece with global refugees as the performers. Now, let me sing you another little song. Let's swim to the moon, let's climb through the tide, penetrate the evening that the city sleeps to hide. Let's swim out tonight, love, it's our turn to try. Park beside the ocean on our moonlight drive. Let's swim to the moon, let's climb through the tide, surrender to the waiting worlds that laugh against our side. Nothing left to open and no time to decide. We've stepped into a river on our moonlight drive. Let's swim to the moon. Let's climb through the tide. You reach your hand to hold me, but I can't be your guide. Easy, I love you as I watch you glide, falling through wet forest on our moonlight drive, moonlight drive, moonlight drive. Gonna take a little ride down, down by the ocean side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. And wow, this is a good open mic. It was nice to mix it up last week with live and being able to kick back now and just enjoy the kick back and enjoy the words and not have to spin as many cameras around or go dodge as many chairs. But I can't wait till all of you come back in the assemblage gallery room next month. I'm not sure if we're going to have any features between now and my trip, but we're going to see what happens. There is one person I would like to have for a second live feature, so I might actually petition the gallery to give us one more spot to figure it out. And if I didn't have so much stuff to do this weekend, I would probably have a Juneteenth reading, but we'll see what happens. I might just do a Juneteenth live stream and just have certain poets come on. It depends on what's going on. I always have stuff to do on the weekends these days, but I hope you guys enjoy the weekend. Ignore the backlash of actually having another day off, because yes, people are outraged about that. As if anyone loves their job that fucking much these days. Anyway, I'm speaking to a lot of retirees, but you know what I mean. But we are about to convene. So thank you guys very much. Chris, I hope you participate in the wave with the camera for the first time. Come on, wave that hand. Tote that barge, lift that bale, Chris. Oh, you coward. He turned off his camera. Thank you guys very much for coming to Stone Soup tonight. More announcements will be coming, more announcements of who's going to be featuring for the rest of the year, and hopefully a second venue is coming up. If we have it, it's not going to be in the Seaport area, but it's not going to be in Cambridge either, or Somerville. It'll be off the red line, slightly off the beaten path, but a nice little fun venue from what I've been able to read about it. I just haven't been able to secure a meeting because I've had so much to do. So hopefully more announcements will come. Maybe we will have that parts unstoned live stream. We'll see what happens. But for now, now I'm in love with that. Idea of Ethan. So thanks for throwing that out there. But the rest of you, have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. I'll see you all and hear from you all very soon. It can be like this every time we get together. All we need is you.
All right, Chad. Thanks, everyone.
The show's over. See you next time.